Hey everyone, good evening, happy holidays. Welcome to the Essential Credentials 2020 interview series. We're on to episode 10. This is the second to last episode of the series, which has been an absolute pleasure for me. I'm really excited for this interview because not only did he step up at the last minute, which was awesome, I think any of us that think of collecting, we have this connection to our family member, a family member, whether it's brother, sister, mom, or dad. Most of us probably are dads. And I know for me, my dad was the reason I got into collecting. And it's going to be fun to hear from my next guest because not only is his dad the reason he collects, but he also got his dad's collection from him. So I think this is going to be really fun to listen to and hear all these unique stories from his end. So, Nick, welcome. How are you?
Hey, good man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's you are the first person that I have met from buying a card from them on eBay,
Okay.
and I think that's it's a pretty cool story of how we met, don't you
Yep.
think?
Oh yeah, definitely. 'Cause like I said, I never thought. I mean, I would never thought in a million years I'd be on Instagram. I always made fun of my wife for being on it. About a year ago, I completely cut off my social media, got rid of Facebook. Like I said, then we make a deal on that Tebow Atomic. We
Yeah.
start chatting, then we did a few more deals, and then before you know it, you got me on here. And I can't thank you enough because, like I said, the community's great. I met a lot of great people. Haven't had any negative experiences yet. I mean, knock
Right.
on wood, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. The crazies always come out, but it's been a great ride so
Well,
far.
as long as you watch out for that bat knob cursive guy, he can be a little off the cuff, but
He's a little crazy. Yeah, I know. He's a
that's right.
little wild. I know.
That's
I know
right.
to keep my eye on him at all times. But no,
But
yeah.
yeah, before we dive into like the Instagram stuff specifically, I thought it was so cool because I remember it was a day off for me. I woke up and I had this, Jocelyn Tebow card that I've been wanting for a long time, and some random guy posted this on eBay, and I was just like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way, here it is. And so that you accepted my offer, which I hope, if I remember correctly, was a decent one.
More than
And
decent. Yeah, that's why I kind of felt guilty. That's why I was starting to give you some extra stuff along the way too.
dude, that
So, but
I
yeah, it was.
talk about, yeah, we'll get into that part about how generous you are, but the deal is accepted, and I'm like, I got to reach out to this guy because this card has been something that I've been looking for a while.
Yeah.
And you and I ended up emailing back and forth, and you started explaining your story to me. And when I needed to fill this spot today, I thought, man, this is an easy choice because who wouldn't like to hear about the story of a kid who collected with their dad, kind of got out of collecting, but was given the collection, and
Mhm.
then got brought back into collecting and all the fun things that you've experienced after. I thought this would be just a pleasure for a lot of people to listen to. So, yeah,
Definitely,
man.
man. Yeah, I'm glad to share my story, and I love hearing everybody else's that comes on here. It's a great little thing you got going on, and like I
Thank
said, I
you.
just love hearing from everybody. So it's everybody's got a different story, everybody's got a different
Right.
journey, and the beauty of this hobby is there's no rules. You don't have to
Right.
collect. You don't have to go for whatever you want to do. You want a PC, guys. You want to go for sets, whatever it may be. Teams. So that's one thing I've always enjoyed about it. It's just there's no rules to it, really.
Right.
Just be kind.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And then 2020, I think, is like this has been like the perfect year in a sense for a lot of people like yourself to come back into collecting because it's been just like a wild ride.
Yeah.
Even before spring break, before this all got all the pandemic and everything,
Yep.
the hobby was just really booming, and that must have been a really big pleasure for you to see. When you came
Yeah.
back in, right?
I had no idea, like I said, I mean, I just got it right as everything started to kind of boom. I got it. What it was is I bought my house around March, and we had to do a little bit of fixing up. We were able to get in around late April, May.
Hmm.
And at that point, I finally started to kind of transfer my dad's collection, which he said had been mine for a long time, but wasn't going to transfer it from apartment to apartment. That's just crazy. It actually took us 7 Jeep loads, so I'm glad I waited till we got the house. So yeah, as soon as I got it here, I was just hooked back immediately. I mean, I've just got all these cards right at my hands. And he was the king of just leaving things in boxes and penny sleeves, like that Tebow right there. Another example, he had almost a full set in the 1994 and 95 Upper Deck Electric Ice. We had two Gretzky's just sitting in there in the penny sleeves, the Yzerman in the penny sleeve. I mean, they were in great shape, but that's just how he was. So, I mean, it was just like Christmas times a million just going through this stuff. And I mean, to this day, I'm still finding stuff. I mean, the other day, I was going through my I think it was 96, 97 Leaf Limited set. And towards the back, it's just the base set, the silver, nothing special. They had the gold parallels, and I always thought they were really good looking. And then I'm just kind of flipping through them, and then towards the back, I see he's got a Slava Fetisov and an Adam Oates gold just sitting there. I mean, they're not worth a lot, but to this, like I said, I just found that I just found that the other day, and Fetisov, I'm starting to kind of PC them all. So it was, like I said, it was a great little, like a freebie little pickup, go shopping in my dad's collection. Because there's still stuff I can't even, because that's just how he was. He just kind of tucked stuff away, and, that's just the way it was. But, like I said, just like that Atomic Refractor, he had a few other ones just sitting in there. I had a Craig Janney, I think. Side note, I had no idea he had such good stats until I got that card, by the way. It was almost a point per game. Yeah, I think he played about 750 games and had about 715 points. So he was almost a point a game guy. Of course, it was during the boom. But nonetheless, right there, that's the other beautiful thing of the hobby. You look at, when I was a kid, I would always look at their stats, just and whatnot. But and right there, looking at the cards, just now we got Google. I can see everything, But
Exactly.
so it's been a good ride.
Well, I mean, you talk about like the way your dad collected and looking at stats on the back of cards. I know I definitely did that. That made me enjoy my collection, way more that my dad got me when I was a kid. But like, what are some of your other memories that stick out? Collecting as a kid with your dad. I mean, you guys must have had so much fun. I mean,
it was the same routine, man. It was the same routine every week. Apparently, he started collecting right about when I was born, or maybe shortly before. He always makes the joke. I was born in '87. I should have been born a year earlier. He'd have a bunch of Marios. But I just come right back. I go, then where are all the WAs? We should have at least 15 or 20 WAs then. But nonetheless, we had the same ritual. Throughout the week, we got the newspaper because this is back in the '90s. They didn't have couldn't go on the internet and find, say, the shows. We'd look and find where the card shows were, wherever they were. Right. You'd have it scoped out, and then Saturday morning, same thing. We'd get up, we'd go to McDonald's, we'd have breakfast, head on on the way to the show, do a quick little scan, kind of go through everything, kind of see what if there's anything that really caught our eye right away, and then you just kind of come through with another little slow roll, and he would find things that he needed for sets. I mean, he was a big set guy, and he'd always make sure to buy something to bring home, to open up. Because I remember it was the same thing every week. We Saturday night he'd have his stuff, and he'd lay it all out on the table, and then we'd watch Hockey Night in Canada, and then he'd start ripping through it. Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. And I'm glad I could still reflect with him and I still remember I was always so excited to just go every week. I didn't I could only collect so much myself. I was a kid. I wasn't making all this money, but as any other kid, I was able to pick some stuff up, and he'd give me a few doubles here and there. So, and I was able to admire his collection at the same time, But, we always did the same kind of deal. Like I said, some of the best memories I can remember as a child.
Now, when you guys went to shows, I mean, have you been to a show recently by any chance?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, we got to get you to the National, first of all, because I know you're in the United States, so that shouldn't be too hard for you next year. But I mean, back then, I went to a couple of shows. I want to say that my dad, who is here watching this right now, I want to say that going to card shops, for instance, he and I mean, that was just fun. To stick your hands on the glass and look through all the cards. Do you remember ever, like, your dad ever finding or a specific card that came from a show or anything stick out from those experiences?
To be honest, there's a lot of memories. I still remember one specific time when he got his O-Pee-Chee Mario rookie card. It was his birthday, and his sisters came with us to the show. It was called Gibraltar Trade Center. It was a big old flea market, Mr. Cardboard Adventures type deal. Yeah. And so we always go there, and I remember they gave him a bunch of money, and he went and he finally got his Mario Lemieux rookie. And this is in the '90s, so I mean that thing was a hefty price.
Right.
And I'll never forget that when that happened for him. And a little one, I remember when I was maybe 10 or 11, I was there and I saw like a Jaromir Jagr O-Pee-Chee Premier rookie card, and I think I got it for like $6. And I like I said, to this day I still remember, and I was elated.
You still have that?
Yes, I
Right?
still do have that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna share that at some point. But yeah, like I said, I paid $6 for it. I still remember it was 23 years ago or 22 years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always kind of remember, scoping through, because I was always a second set of eyes too, because I knew, obviously, I was big into the hobby. I used to just kind of look at the Beckett's all the time, and I was, whenever we went, I would always be looking for him too. So he kind of had, at least he had that advantage too, where he's got an extra set of eyes. I'd be like, hey, Dad, you see this over here? Blah, blah, blah. And he'd come running over, and, it's kind of how it went.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. I mean, so many of us, I think when we look back on collecting, we have maybe a memory or two with our dads, collecting. For me, I've talked about the card many times with the Joey Cora card. That is a memory that's always at the forefront of my mind, like you with your Yamir Yager. But I think you've had maybe a little bit more, if not a lot more, memories tied to connecting with your dad than most of us. I mean, which is perfect with your Instagram name. I mean, I think that
couldn't pick anything else.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't. Yeah. I mean, he was, like I said, it was every week with them for, 15, 20 years, every week, I mean, it was nonstop. So,
right.
And it was a great ride. Like I said, as a kid, I mean, I loved it. I'm going to card shows every Saturday. Like, cool. I'm 7, 8, 9 years old. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Right.
Even if I wasn't buying anything, I just loved being there, and seeing the stuff he got, I mean, I even remember as a child, one time I got lost, actually, when I was maybe 5 or 6, just wandering around. And of course, he wasn't looking for me. I found him at a table, looking through some stuff.
That sounds like a collector right there.
Yeah, exactly. But, I still remember that actually as a young child memory. I lost him for maybe a few minutes. And like I said, I expected him to be looking for me, but he was deep into finding something. So, hopefully it's something back there.
That's awesome. Yeah, hopefully whatever he found was worth it. But I mean, where did I am kind of curious, because nowadays there's a few set collectors out there. I think most of us are geared towards singles. Or player
PC guys. Yeah,
we
exactly.
find a player that we really love, whether it's Marc-Andre Fleury or Sergei Fedorov, Lemieux,
whoever it may be. Yeah, there's so many options.
Right. So why did your dad, do you know why he gravitated toward the set collector path rather than than like targeting a specific player?
He's just always been an overall just collector. He likes to have everything. He likes to have 2 of everything if possible. So yeah, he was always that way. It gave him something to go. I had his lists out. I still have his list to this day. Because back then, this is pre-internet. Where it was 1 through 1,000. I think he got these little sheets from work actually, because he worked in parts, so he was able to print off these inventory type sheets, and he'd check them off. He'd bring them every week. He had a little booklet.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was I was just how it went. And he always just like I said, it gave him something to chase. And like I said, into the 90s, it became parallels. And you're chasing a set with 300, 400, 500 cards sometimes. So it gives you a lofty, big target. And then this is pre-internet too, so he wasn't able to, just hop online and find card 18 from 1986 tops, or whatever it may be. So, I was but that was always his thing. He just likes to collect things as a whole. He really likes. He's just like Batnob, Ryan. He really liked factory seal type stuff.
Right.
He had a box of 87, 88 factory sealed O-Pee-Chee hockey that he's still mad to this day that he opened. I'm kind of glad he did, and that way I didn't have to worry about making that decision. So I could at least enjoy it. But it'd probably be worth a pretty penny, but it's not something I would ever sell anyways, but it's really cool. But that's the type of stuff he was into, just keeping stuff in the best shape he could. But yeah, he was just a quantity kind of guy. It was quality too, but he just liked, just having entire sets or whatnot.
Now, I guess my last big question for your how your dad collected and involving you, how did you guys enjoy what he had already? Like, were there times where you you throw everything out on the table and watch Hockey Night in America? Did you, in between the shows, did he ever say, okay, hey son, we're gonna put this set in order today, or let's like look at these today? Did you guys ever have any of that kind of stuff?
When I was young, he used to give me like say 1992, 93 Topps hockey. He'd give me a bunch of base cards, and this actually kind of helped my math mind. He would kind of have me put them in, in order. Granted, they're probably getting dinged and stuff because I was a child. But so that's the type of stuff we used to always do. I remember he always just gave me stuff like that. And the thing was, all his stuff was in a little closet. He wasn't able to get to it as easy. He'd have to get on his hands and knees and crawl through a crawl space. It was one of those little doors. But he had like a box out with all kind of like his good PC stuff. But like what's funny is like a rookie card, he's going to leave it with the set in the box. If it's a Mario Lemieux rookie, it's in that box, with the set. That's just how he was, I pulled him out because I like to look at him. I like to see him.
Right.
But yeah, he just liked leaving everything together. He liked having it complete if he could. But yeah, we every once in a while we'd look through his kind of like his PC stuff, and not gonna lie, when he wasn't home, I would kind of look. He caught me a few times when he came home early from work. But
That's awesome.
Yeah, so. But it's it's all good and stuff. But yeah, we like I said, every once in a while we just kind of look at random stuff, and to this day we still reminisce.
I mean, for all the things to get caught doing that you're not supposed to when your dad comes home, looking at his card collection, I think that you're doing a lot better than most of us.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. That's true. I could have been doing a lot worse things with that. But that came later, later on in my life. But
we've all been down that path.
Right.
That's awesome, man. I mean, sure, I think we can all look back and say, okay, we wish that we would have done something more with our dads. It's really cool for you to be able to look back and think, I got to share a lot of these memories with my dad. And then, obviously looking forward to now, your passion in collecting was certainly fueled by his passion of collecting. As Will said 2 episodes ago, being a serial hobbyist is something that can catch up to us. And it sounds like you just went right down the same path of collecting cards rather than, something else. Now that before we move on to you were telling me your dad is still a collector, but now that he's pass this on to you, he's collecting something else, right?
Yeah, now he's on to coins. Loves all sorts of coins. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a damn thing about any of them. Around 2002, that's when he switched over. He was always that was I think his first childhood thing, because he had his uncle Tony kind of got him into it, way back when, late 60s. Definitely should have got him into sports cards, but that's another story, especially at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of put that away. He goes back and forth, and he's the collector of all collectors. Simple as if you go into his garage, he's going to have 2 of everything. They're going to be unopened if he can, if it could be in the packaging. His shed up north looks like, like an Ace Hardware store or something, it's just the way he is. Yeah. He collects, he can't stop. He goes to like there's like a little store called Ollie's. It's a little thrift store type deal, and they always have new stuff. He's always buying stuff, texting me these deals he gets. So and he was always, that's one thing he loved about the shows too. He was a big time haggler. Those guys had to hate him. He was always trying to bring them down. But that was one fun part about it. So now he's on eBay himself buying coins, and that's a whole nother thing. And now he can offer him whatever he wants and not have to deal with the repercussions, face to face, of them wanting to punch you in the face for the disrespectful offer. So he's having a good time himself with that. So he kind of transitioned to that. But like I said, I don't know a thing about any of it. But it keeps him happy. Because I don't think that man can live without collecting. He's just gotta keep going. Gotta keep going.
Well,
keep amassing.
I think now more than ever, which is why the hobby is booming so much, is like we all need that hobby, like that distraction, something to kind of keep us geared toward achieving a goal. And while cards does that for many of us, I think, it's hard to, like, if you stop collecting cards today, there's no way you could you could just move on and not collect anything ever.
What am I going to do? Yeah. Even before this, I was kind of collecting autographs, it was always something. Right. I bought a few cards like in my early 20s. Like I bought a Barry Sanders rookie, an Isaiah Thomas rookie, a few Steve Yzerman Topps rookies, because they were all pretty cheap at this time. This is 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
And I didn't really plan to get back in the hobby, but I always wanted an Isaiah and a Barry rookie. I had the Yzerman, but they were so cheap I couldn't help pick a couple up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always wanted an Isaiah and a Barry. Because I'm from outside Detroit, and those were our, the legendary guys that I grew up with, watching, that was another thing, these guys were legends, and they're just, we know what it's like growing, watching these guys as we grow up. I think that's another thing why I kind of like collecting the 90s, because I don't really collect much of the new stuff.
Right.
And it's just collecting guys I just remember watching as a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something to it. I don't know. And I don't have to worry about a guy getting traded. You know, that was the worst. You collect a bunch of guys, say he's on your team, and then he gets traded. And you're like, what the hell am I going to do with all these cards now? You know, I mean, it was just something about it when a guy got unloaded, you know, from your team. And so I just kind of like I said, collecting the guys that I just remember when I was a kid.
Right. Well, I faced that dilemma. You know, I was picking up some Tristan Jarry, and there was this like Matt Murray or Tristan Jarry, and I'm like, please, I mean, no offense, Matt, but it's time to go. Like,
yes.
I got these Tristan Jarry cards sitting in front of me. I'm like, please, no. And that's probably what you're talking about. Like,
that's
if
what I mean.
Would have been traded, that would have just been like knife to the heart, man.
That's what I mean. I remember my dad had a bunch of Sergey stuff. You know, when Sergey left, it was just almost, I want to say it was dead to him, but you know, because he was pretty pissed and pretty upset when he left. I still remember that. He's gotten over it over time, but I still remember that was a good example of a guy he had a bunch of stuff of, and it's just all of a sudden the guy's gone. You know, especially when they leave on their own terms. Because then you're pissed at the guy. It's not like the team, you know, traded him too. So, you know, that's what I don't like about collecting current guys. You know, unless it's just a guy you like, you know, say you know, whatever player it may be, you know, Sidney Crosby, you know, those guys obviously ain't switching teams. But that's a different story. But yeah, when you get it, like I said, I'm a little reluctant to start collecting like Philip Zadina's type stuff. You know, a few rookie cards here and there, but that's kind of it, you know. Keep it kind of small with that stuff.
Zetterberg could be a fun one because he played there for so long.
That's what I do like you said, the career wings, you know, guys I like Yzerman, Lidstrom, Datsuk, Zetterberg, you know, guys
Osgood,
that, you know.
Another one.
Well, Osgood left. But it wasn't on his terms. He never wanted to leave. I'll give him that. He never wanted to leave.
And he came back and won a cup for you guys.
Yeah, he won 2.
My team. So.
Yeah, he won 2. You know, he won 3, but he won 2 as the starting guy. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another good example of him. Yeah.
Your team's had some amazing players for sure. But I mean, I'm kind of curious too. Like, you know, you get the collection in 2002. You said was when your dad got out, and was it just recently this year when you got everything set up? And I'm going to show some pictures of just how everything looks. But was it this year when you like you said, you moved the house, got everything set up? What really pulled you back in? You know, was it just setting everything out in front of you?
Yeah, you know, like I said, he told me a long time ago. I mean, he didn't tell me in 2002 it was mine because I was 15, you know, but he waited till I was in my early 20s. They all just kind of sat in that, you know, in his closet and just collected dust and just waited. Then my early 20s, you know, he made sure to mention, you know, they're mine because that was always his, you know, play to my mom, you know, for his college education. So that was always, you know, it's an investment. It's for that. You know, that's always the only time I like to use the word investments when you're talking to the wife. But nonetheless, you know, so that was what we had going on with that. But I got off track there.
No. I hear you, man. The invest in cards, like
yes.
As collectors, we don't ever refer to cards that way unless we're like a family member's like, so why do you have all these? Like, well,
yes.
in like 10
it's
years, they're going to be worth a
yes.
bunch more. I mean, look how much the cards have gone up already.
You know your audience. Know your audience. That's all. Just know who you're talking to.
You got to be a good BSer when you're a collector,
of course.
Right?
Yes. No doubt about that.
All right. Well, so you kind of get the cards out, and if I can, we can just kind of tie in where I met you.
Mm-hmm.
You started looking through the cards,
yes.
and we're finding all these. Did you know what you were looking at? Like when you found the Tebow in the box, did like the memories of back then come back, or did you sit down with that massive Beckett that most of us have and just start looking stuff up? Like how did you verse yourself?
That's what I did. Like I knew what he had to an extent, but he even didn't know what he had. He asked me all the time. He's like, "What'd you find?" You know, he didn't even fully know what he put in there because he just had so much stuff, you know, and he wasn't able to kind of get in there and look through it. The Tebow was in a box of just called refractors. Just a box full of refractors. You know, there's a couple Sergey 95, 96 finest bronze refractors in there. You know, they're all in penny sleeves. Just like I said, about 300-400 of them. Bowman's best, Topps Chrome. You know, just various stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's just the type of stuff that he, you know, and like I said, when I first got it home, I grabbed the main stuff I wanted right away. You know, so I grabbed the old 80 sets. Started grabbing some of the nice parallel sets from the 90s. And yeah, I got them home. And I stayed up till 2, 3 o'clock. I'm not gonna lie. My neck was hurting the next day, but I didn't care. Got up, did it again, and I was just absolutely obsessed. And it brought me right back immediately. Because like I said, to this day I'm still finding stuff, and that was 7 months ago. Because he just had so much stuff, and like I said, he just had them in boxes, and you just never knew what you were going to come across. You know, he had a box full of artist proofs. You just never know what he had, and he didn't even know. And I was just, like I said, it was Christmas times a million, just ripping through this stuff and seeing what he had in there. You know, I just bought 1,000 top loaders and went to town pretty much. That's kind of just what I was doing with that, and just.
How much of the stuff came out of packs? Like, did the Tebow and the artist proofs and all that stuff come out of packs, or was that like singles buying back in the day for him?
It's hard to say, but I'm gonna almost guarantee that like the Tebow came from a pack. That was probably just a one hell of a lucky pull, because I remember he bought a lot of that Bowman stuff, and no offense, but I just couldn't have seen him picking up a Tebow unless he got it for a really great deal, because he just he wasn't chasing those. They were super rare. He only had 4 of them, so it's not like he was trying to complete a set. So I'd have to assume the 4 that he had, he pulled, because they were just kind of random guys. There was Tebow, it was a Mike Maniaci, Craig Janney, and I think Greg Johnson. So those, it all depends on some of the stuff. I can tell he pulled, like these artist proofs. I know he pulled them because he used to buy a ton of that score. Pinnacle inside the cans. I got a few of those executive collections. I know he pulled those.
Yeah.
But unless he was getting an outstanding deal, for the most part, I have to assume he pulled most of it.
That's awesome.
Unless it was some sets he was just completing. But the other thing, I had a box full of Don Ross Elite inserts from the the early to mid '90s. Those are like the best inserts ever.
That was the best.
Yeah, he had 2 Sergeys sitting in there. There was a Patrick Waugh from '94. There was a Mario sitting in there. There's a bunch of them. I'm like, geez, man. And it was just like I said, it was just opening like Christmas. And just ripping through it.
I think anybody that's listening right now, any of us that are, I don't care what sport you collect, to picture sitting down with all this '90s stuff, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, football, it would have just been, that's like a dream for most of us, and that you got to live it out is just like that. You'll never forget that. Now, I do have to ask, what is your, when your dad calls you up and say, hey, what did you find? I mean, does he still get excited when you're like, Dad, I can't believe you have all these elite inserts in a box?
Oh, yeah. I swear he tries to play dumb sometimes. I'll send him a refractor, like a gold refractor or something. I'll be like, you remember this? And he'll be like, oh, kind of. I'm like, don't lie. You remember it. But, a few cards I've been able to pick up this year. I don't want to spoil them yet because I know they're going to come a little later. He was his jaw hit the ground, and he was just like, man, I always wanted one of those myself, So he's definitely, because he loves sports and stuff. It's not like he just stopped watching sports or liking sports or any of that. He just switched. So his interests are still there. It's nothing he's obviously going to probably pursue again. But like I said, he still gets excited when he hears some of the stuff I get, and he's always asking me every time we talk on the phone too. He's like, "You get any new card? You get any new this? What'd you find?" Awesome. So he still definitely has interest in it, and he's excited when he hears the type of stuff I get and find.
That's awesome, man. I have to say that's been one of the biggest joys of collecting hockey again for me is like with the Tebow when it came, the first person I sent a picture of it to is my dad. And, even though my dad appreciated the baseball side of collecting, when he like had this big smile when he knew I was going to collect hockey again, and sharing cards with him again, since I hadn't done that since I was a kid. Yeah. Even he enjoys it, and
brings you back, man. Brings you back to a simpler time, good times, and it's just you're nerding out with your dad. It's just, I mean, there's nothing better than that at that point. You're acting like little boys at that point. Just it's fun. You got to enjoy life, right? I mean, it's too short. This is the type of stuff we live for, so we have to enjoy.
Well, speaking of enjoying your collection, I mean, there's nothing more enjoyable than being able to share it with people, but also see others' collections, And when you and I chatted, we had been emailing for a bit, and you and I chatted, and I said, hey, you might want to think about checking out Instagram. And I'm not trying to steal credit or anything, but what was really
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Well, I mean, it was just the idea, but you had the chance to meet, and just from what I'd seen at that point, I'd only been on there for about a month and a half, and so I'm like, man, these people are very generous, they're very appreciative. I was like, I think you would enjoy it. Can you talk a little bit about how that experience has been so far on Instagram? I think you got on there June, maybe
somewhere around there. It hasn't been that long there. June, July, maybe somewhere around there. It hasn't been that long. but yeah, I mean, the experience has been unbelievable. I mean, the people in the community are just, I mean, they're unreal. A guy like Cardboard Adventures, Jimmy, he's always messaging me, telling me he finds this and that, and even, we're always just kind of, shooting the breeze anyways, just kind of talking, and guys like that, or Bat Knob Cursive's another one, Epic Collections, Uncle Vinny, Dollar Rookies. He probably thinks I scammed him because we're in the middle of a trade right now in the mail office hasn't delivered his Pat LaFontaine finest refractor that I owe him.
Well, I just got the one you sent me from like 2 weeks ago in
I'm
the
legit.
mail, so I don't think he has anything to worry about.
No, we kind of joke about it. We made the joke that that it's just lost. It's never coming back. He's never getting it. I scammed him. But he's a funny guy too. And Hockey Card Nostalgia. He's another one. Milo. He's a great guy. Guys like that. Yeah, everybody's supportive. Like I said, it's like a. Everybody, if somebody sees a great card, there's not this like nasty jealousy to it. It's like a healthy jealousy. You're like, man, that's so cool. I wish I had that. Congrats, great card, sharp card. And just seeing people help people. Say you need something, and all of a sudden your DMs are just flying open. Hey, I got this. I got this. You need this. Whatever it may be. And it's things like that. And just like I said, just shooting the breeze about whatever, about just cards, hockey, inserts, whatever it may be. And it's just nice, especially right now with the quarantine going on, and we're just not able to get out and see as much. It's great to get on there and just kind of just get back to things that were kind of normal to us. And
right.
So it's been a great experience. Like I said, I have yet to come across anybody who was nasty or negative. Bat Knob Cursive, I just love his when he finds these crazy people on eBay trying to sell half-eaten Wayne Gretzky rookie cards for PSA 10s. I love his cards. Love it.
One of his best posts. One of his best posts of the year.
PSA 10? I don't know. The card's half eaten. But stuff like that just kind of, always makes me kind of crack up and laugh. So it's been great. And like I said, guys are, it's my kind of humor too on top of it. And, everybody's respectful and nice. So it's been a good time. Like I said, good ride. And everybody's been great that I've come across so far.
It's been really cool to see your photography skills improving too. I mean, everybody has, and I talked about this with Ryan, Bat Knob Cursive. Everybody has their own aesthetic with their pictures. I've noticed with a lot of people, like, you started off with just like a table and a car and the picture coming straight down, which we all did. I think we all, but then you start playing with the light and you start playing with backgrounds, and you did something recent that was really cool. Ryan would always take pictures with the Beckett behind it, or a picture.
I stole this from him. I messaged him before I posted this. Like, I hope you don't mind me completely copying your style, but I really like it.
But it's cool, man, because it gives you the chance to play around with the photography side of things, and that's what hockey people do way better than the baseball community. Not to hate on them, because the
live shots are incredible. Yeah, they're incredible. Yeah. I mean, you got ice flying up. I mean, the slap shots. I mean, it's no offense to the other sports, but yeah, the action live shots are they're just second to none. It's just
right. Well,
no offense to the other sports,
No, right, for sure. But like the backgrounds too, like you got a hockey jersey behind the picture, or you've got a guy who, like, Ryan, he did all the cards behind it, and then
then you're looking at him, you're like, what's he got back there?
Right. Yeah. I like your red background. I think you probably use that table right to your right there behind you.
Yep.
All the Red Wings cards are on top of that, which is like, dude, that is awesome, because every time I see a card from your collection go up, I know it's from you. Like, I don't like, if I had the name covered up, I would know it was Nick's card, and I feel like that's been something I've enjoyed and discovered way more in the hockey community than in the baseball community. I mean, I'm sure the same, right?
Yeah, and another example was because I was kind of recently just kind of showing off my my O-Pee-Chee sets from the '80s, and I was taking some of those Beckett pictures. The art was incredible. I mean, there was an Alexander McGinley one in there. I don't know if you remember the Archer's Herbe one. Just
vaguely, yes.
It was there was swimming sharks and stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
just some of this artwork that were from these Beckett's from the mid '90s were just incredible.
Right. I remember it now.
Yeah, there's a couple Marios, a couple Gretzky's, Yzermans. So I kind of figured I'd just kind of put them in there, because I mean you could put up 10 pictures, so I figured, and then you can put one of just the card, you can put one of just the picture. But like I said, I just came across these things, I was like, let's go with this little routine of doing these sets and kind of sharing a little bit of this these Beckett art, because some of this stuff is just, I mean, it's incredible. I don't know who drew it or who painted or airbrushed it or whatnot, but it is incredible and it deserves its recognition still.
Right.
It looks great next to these cards, you know. I mean, you throw a couple cards to the side and next to these pictures. I mean, it just, like I said, just exploring with it, and that's the other thing I love about it, especially the setups I have going on. It's just getting creative. Gives me stuff to do, as opposed to just like my dad, just putting it in a box and just kind of not messing with it, you know. That's what I enjoy, you know, the customization of it.
That's something that you had going for you when you and I first started talking. I saw a picture of a display, and I bought the T-bow, and then we did another little deal for a few other T-bows, and you threw a bunch of extra T-bows in there, which was just amazing. And then I spotted a duplicate of a card on your stand there, and I thought,
yes.
You know what? I think I'm about to buy my first and only vintage card, and I was so happy to share this with my dad.
Yes.
Funny enough, he was just like over the moon about it. But it's the Patrick Waugh O-Pee-Chee rookie, and I still have the label. It was funny. We waited like 3 or 4 days to get the deal done because you're like, dude, I can't find the label anyway.
Yeah, I cracked it open like an idiot because that's what I do. I crack open slabs. That's what I do. You know, it's a problem. I'm seeing somebody about it, so I'm starting to stop.
I might need to join you because I hate them myself.
I know, but I knew I had it, and like I said, it just took me about 3 or 4 days. I mean, I was legit looking for it, you know, almost every day.
Where was it? Anyway, you sent it in the top loader, or was it?
It was inside I had a box, and it was inside a top loader at the bottom. Because like I said, I threw it in the top loader. Just threw it in there because I don't want to just throw the slab out. You know, I mean, just of the paper.
Right.
But especially those cards because there's just, you know, there's so many counterfeits, there's so many fakes.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm a fool and I just can't help myself with just cracking cards open. You know, I got the tools down and everything. I need to stop.
Well, especially nowadays, right? Because everything like grading is just like increasing the price tenfold some cards. But
yeah, I remember when that first came in. My dad was not happy about grading. I remember that in like the mid '90s. I remember they had booths and stuff, and he was never a fan of graded cards. So maybe that kind of pushed down to me,
right?
Because you know it drove up the price.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would never buy a Wayne Gretzky, a Mario Lemieux, a Patrick Waugh rookie anymore without it being
right.
You know, I'm not doing that, period. I love when people try to sell it raw, and I'm just no way.
No,
just
you can't.
Not a chance. Yeah.
Too easy to you accidentally get a counterfeit, and then you got to do all the
people
research.
suck. Yeah. People suck. It's all it takes. Now they can, it's terrible, you know, but what are you going to do? You know, just be smart, and it's all you can do.
Well, why don't you talked about your setup. Why don't we show some pictures of what you got going on? It's definitely changed and morphed
Always.
The last few months. Yeah, you can't keep it the same for too long. But we'll start off here with a picture of you and your dad when you were a kid, and then I'll transition right into how you got things set. And feel free just kind of narrate what you got going on here. That would be great.
Certainly.
All right, so let's go to here. So.
Yeah. So this was from when they won it in 1997. So the first one, I was 10 years old. The Zamboni driver, Al Sapatka, I think his name was. He's famous from the octopus, you know. Mm-hmm. That was him. Anyways, he had the cup and he had a little party there, and we were invited. And I remember sitting in line waiting. They had Doug Brown's little Mustang car that he used for the parade.
Yep.
And we waited in line, and we finally got up there, and you know, I'll never forget being able to grab the cup and touch the cup like that. And I mean, that was just a great experience, you know. I mean, the picture still stands the test of time 23 years later.
Yeah, no, that's something you're never going to forget for sure. I'm just going to kind of go through in the order that I have them here. This you were telling me this is kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah, I actually, Batting Up Joseph knows a lot about this stuff because this is right up his alley. Unfortunately, this one is not sealed, factory sealed, because I believe this is the first year they started doing factory sealed. I'm sure he can let us know, or some expert will let us know. But I think this was the first year they started doing it. Luke Robitaille was the big rookie in this one, and Adam Oates, I believe. Patrick Waugh's second year, Lemieux's third year, etc. But to me, this was the best looking card of the 80s. So I'm kind of glad he cracked it open. But nonetheless, yeah, this year and the following year, I've never actually seen anything for the following year, the 1989. Bat Knob Ryan was telling me about it. You know, the one with Brett Hall and Shanahan and Neuendijk and them. But I've never even seen that one. So I can only imagine what these things are going for if they're sealed.
Right.
Because it's a beautiful box too. I love it. I mean, it's so colorful. I love the factory sealed boxes. They were just, I mean, you got the French on it. It's awesome. Right? What's that?
Your dad had a few of these, right? From the years, the factory sealed?
Yeah, he had just one of that specific year, but he's got a ton of them. He's got like the 90-91 O-Pee-Chee Premier, the little 132 one, you know, with the Fedorov and Yager and all them. He's got that one. But yeah, he was all about getting the sealed stuff when he could. Awesome. But these factory stuff, yeah, it's like I said, it's just great stuff.
And he kept. You were telling us that he kept a lot of boxes with packs in it, right?
Yeah, kept a lot of stuff here. Like, you know, to the left there, you got the '88 Topps football. That's the Bo Jackson rookie year. Mm-hmm. And then to the right too are the fat packs of that same season, same stuff. And I think the one in the middle is '91 Fleer, so it's nothing really too special. But yeah, he had a bunch of stuff like this. He has a few boxes of a Pro Set. I feel like I should throw them on eBay right now.
Joke.
Yeah, but he's got a few of those laying around. You know, because he was just, like I said, he liked sealed stuff, and you know, he just, whenever he could get factory packs, you know, because we actually have I have a few packs of like 91, 92 O-Pee-Chee. You know, it's pretty much worthless, but pretty much every when my niece and nephew's birthdays, I always make sure to throw a pack or two in there.
Nice.
You know,
That's
and
awesome, dude.
they're fools, and they always chew the gum. And I just they have to. Got to experience it, but I love it watching them chew it, and then and it's just But you know, it's just even seeing that, they have no idea what they're even looking at. You know,
it's
they don't know
these players.
It's
a rite of passage.
It really is. It really is.
This is an interesting way to store cards right here. I do like this. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, and I love how it's all labeled. This is, I'm guessing this is something you picked up from your dad, right? Getting them all in like organized piles and whatnot.
Yes. I recently kind of put everything together. He had them all kind of bunched in. Because this is all inserts right in there, pretty much. There's maybe a few parallels in there. So I just kind of tried putting them by company. You know, you got Topps, you know, the Stadium Club, whatnot, Upper Deck. I just try to sort them myself and throw some stickers on there, because I would just endlessly be looking through this stuff, looking for whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And there's just way too much in there. So I was able to finally get that organized myself and get that kind of nice. But yeah, those are pretty much all my inserts.
That's awesome.
For the most part.
See a few fun ones in there for sure.
Yeah.
Here's my
Lidstrom Wall. Yeah, this is the Lidstrom Wall, the Lidstrom area, should I say. Got a few of the bottom, pretty much all the bottom ones are almost all autographs except for that one on the right. That's a little stick jersey combo thing. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, that thing looks pretty cool. And the top ones are kind of just refractors and just kind of random cards. There's a couple jerseys in there, but just kind of cards that, you know, I just like the way they look. I always like those Bowman's Best refractors, you know, even the regular ones look great looking. Yeah, exactly. And those triple.
Go ahead.
Like the triple diamond from 98, 99, the one in the middle. Yeah, I love those cards, man. Those, just that gold on those, I mean, it's just a great looking card.
I like how you discovered the whole be a player thing, because when I got into Tebow, like the 90s ones here, they were all the ones that I kept finding. And then, as I was warned by Amish Dave Archer, careful when you dive down the be a player, because there's so much to find.
Dude, endless content. You're not kidding. And then they started doing like buybacks, and I'm a little lost when I kind of look at that type of stuff, you know, buyback theories. But yeah.
You got some there, and that's the same picture, but just zoomed out. Okay.
Yep, that's the same one. The bottom one, I kind of got some Zetterberg and Datsuk stuff down there, and a Lidstrom bobblehead back there. But
nice. And then we've got is this
Sergey? Yeah, it's my Sergey area. That's where I got my. I like I said, just like to keep my favorite ones out there. I like to be able to just kind of look around, and like you said, every once in a while I swap them out, but for the most part, I keep the ones I like the most, and I just like to be reminded everywhere I look. My poor wife.
This is no doubt, man. Well, I'm sure she's used to it now. This was a similar picture to the one that you sent me. I think is this. This is the left side of the picture. And people might see some familiar cards in there, and this is the right side. You'd sent me this, but the wall was within this picture. It was next to a Gretzky or a Lemieux, and I was like, oh my gosh, I see two of them. So that was what got me drooling. But yeah, this is inside the kind of in
the man cave, inside the closet. Yeah, the closet. That's right there.
All right, behind you, right?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
kind of see him back there. Yeah, I actually just kind of switched everything around. I decided to kind of make it more of a Gretzky and Mario type thing for now.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say I don't see
But I
any
had the
gold
Waz.
there.
Yeah, I moved my my Waz, and my Messier and Borks. There they go. That's where you'll find my Borks and Messier and Coffee and
Okay.
McKinnis. The Waz are up top. There might be a
Okay.
picture in there somewhere with it. Just a couple random little. Yeah, there you
There
go.
they
There's the
are.
two Waz. Yeah, there they are.
There
That's
they
the
are.
Thompson Peachy Wa, both of them.
Nice, nice, man. This is just a collector's dream to like see it all labeled and just know what kind of cards are inside
Yes,
there.
I made all those labels myself. He liked putting he would take the pack and tape it on the side of the box. So actually, almost on most of those boxes on the other side, you'll find like the pack that came
Oh,
from that
that's
set.
cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
kind of like what he liked to do.
Okay.
Or I suppose it's style, should I say?
Nice. I love the Mario signed picture here and all that. That's just awesome, man. And we've got another Red Wings
Refractor, bro.
refractor.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Those are all my kind of just random refractors that I've kind of accumulated. The bottom ones are almost all the 95, 96 Topps Finest ones.
Okay.
No,
All right.
yep, right
Oh,
there.
right
Yeah,
here. Yep. Right
yep.
here.
Those are all the bronzes. I'm only missing the Igor silver, and I have the Iserman gold, but that's in a different spot.
Right. Right. And
But yeah,
I like the way that you've got these all set up. And one of the hardest things to do when you're displaying is get them on different levels. And these boxes actually do a really good job.
right. I know. I was sitting there. I was like, what can I do? Because I don't want to buy 1,000 display stands. I just can't do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go broke. But I was like, man, these boxes are perfect. You know, as long as I get these nice, clean white ones, I can just lean it against the wall. So yeah, it ended up being a perfect kind of display deal. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just like I said, I've been doing a lot of playing around, a lot of creativity. So things like that have kind of helped.
Love it. All right,
Um,
here's kind of a better. Yeah, I just
it's another little Red Wing area.
nice.
Yeah, I got a
Awesome,
couple
man.
randoms in there. I got the Oates rookie, and I got a couple cards I picked up from cardboard, Jimmy in there.
Yeah.
So
Jimmy's a good dude. He sets
yeah,
me up for sure.
flea market, dude. I think I think we've all done a deal with Jimmy at some point.
We have. He
You
finds
know,
everything, man.
he does,
Oh,
man. I just give him a list of the things I want, and then like 3 days later, all of a sudden he's got it. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, Jimmy.
yeah.
Appreciate it. You know.
Yeah, I do have to
He's a
give him a
fair guy
massive
too.
shout out.
Very fair
Yep.
with his prices too. Because he'll look to see what it was sold for last, and then he'll cut you a decent deal off of that. So
Yeah,
he's
he
not
had
looking
the
for money. He's looking to help people. Like I said, he's another great
right.
one of the community. You know, if he knows what you're looking for, he'll try and grab it for you.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've always loved about things like that and guys like that.
That's exactly how you are too, though. You never, for all the three deals that we had, you never. Not only did you not overcharge, but you're like, hey, I'll even throw these in too, and that's
He's
something
got so much
that
stuff. If I can
right.
share it, like I said, a few things that's not going to mean anything to me, because he just accumulated so much, and that's kind of always was his mantra, anyways. Like I was telling you earlier, we'd go to McDonald's, he'd get a Happy Meal, he'd give the toy he'd find a family with a young child and give them the toy. He was always just very generous with this stuff, and I mean, it's just what are we doing this for, right?
No joke.
You know.
No joke. Well, and especially because it's Christmas time and the giving
Well,
spirits around.
you know what? Whenever I
it's
bought
great.
anything and anybody would throw anything bonus, I can't explain how excited I would always be. Even from eBay, somebody would just throw. I bought I think a Philip Zadina Young Guns rookie, and the guy threw in an Peachy Platinum rookie, just the base one. But I was just absolutely thrilled. I was like, and I had messaged the guy right away. It's like little, and I just remember experiencing that and feeling that. And if you could share that, just kind of throwing in some random cards that somebody doesn't really expect.
Right.
I just remember that feeling I had, and it was a great feeling.
It is. Well, and to say thank you again, you sent me some extra goalies today. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
sent me the 3 original Young Gun goalies that you said you had extras of, and you threw some other stuff in there. And that kind of generosity needs to keep being spread around.
Yeah.
And that's why that hockey community, I think, is the best community on Instagram out there. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, right, hands down. Yeah, like I said, everybody's great, and everybody's so generous, and it's just like you said, the community. It's it's the hockey community in general too. Most hockey fans seem to just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if the players also are just more relatable. They just kind of seem more normal. I don't know what it is, or maybe something we can relate to, but it just seems like the hockey community has just always been a nicer group. Because even like you'll have teams that have rivalries, and people can still have conversations. It could be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan and a Canadiens fan, and they can still it's not like a Yankees and Red Sox fan. They're about to choke each other out. You know what I mean? There's just something a little bit different with the respect factor that kind of kind of comes with, the sport of hockey or something about it. And it just kind of, it trickles all the way down, it seems like.
I'm definitely uncovering more of that as
Yeah.
I'm getting bigger and bigger into hockey. Before we get into the rapid fire questions, last thing I want to ask you is, looking forward to 2021, you're just you've gotten back into collecting. You're really focused on the 90s. Is that where you see yourself kind of staying in that sweet spot for a while, or are you going to kind of maybe branch out just a little bit this next year?
I don't plan on it. I was able to finish a couple goals I had this year. 1995-96 finest hockey set, 1 through 191. I was able to finish that. A couple top sets from back in the day. I have 3 sets I need to finish from the 80s and 70s, and outside of that, just kind of pick up a few, PC guys here and there. But I'm just kind of backing off too, to be honest, because the hobby and the market is just incredible right now. So I'm just going to kind of try and do some trades here and there and just kind of shop through my own stuff, to be honest, because it's crazy right now, and just wait for it to kind of just temper down, because, guys like Steve Yzerman, I mean, his stuff's through the roof right now. I just can't. I just can't compete with some of the prices for some of his stuff, and that's why I kind of started buying some Lidstrom stuff. But even like his stuff's starting to get up there. Sergey's booming. It's just, like I said, I'm going to try and kind of take a step back a little bit, and just kind of enjoy what I have. Continue on Instagram, just digging through my stuff, because I get just as much joy out of that, just kind of sharing it and seeing everybody's stuff, and that kind of can help hold over that quench, to want to purchase or buy anything, at least for me for now. And like I said, just messing around with the designs, moving cards around. Got plenty of stuff, plenty of resources to work with. So for now, I think I'm going to kind of try and relax till things calm down.
Nice. Well, I think it's excitement of hockey coming back, and
that's the other thing.
People just found out we're getting a little bit more money, like half what we got last time. So everybody's probably thinking, okay, if I spend like this much right now, it's covered, and when like 2 months.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I'm gonna get this eventually. The money will be recuperated in about a month, hopefully.
I mean, anybody watching that doesn't admit that they've thought that while looking at a card, like, I think I might be able to get away with this, is just they're lying, because we all have done it now in the last.
I'm not gonna lie. The past few weeks, it's been a part of my. I don't want to say a part of my budget, but it's definitely been in the back of my head. I don't want to say I expect it, because that's terrible to say. Right. But exactly, like you said, it's kind of made us all kind of contemplate a few things.
For sure. Well, I think that's great as far as the goals go. I think a lot of us are in that same boat. I know I had a good conversation with my buddy Tyler, who was on here a couple weeks back, and he's a big McGuire guy, and he's like, man, I keep getting outbid. I'm like, it is time to maybe grab a little bit, but appreciate everything that we have, because
that's exactly. It's time to be grateful all around. So you know what? Be grateful for your collection. Be grateful for whatever you have. Yeah, because like I said, especially with everything going on, it's just, practice gratitude across the board if you can, and like I said, that bleeds into the collections and what we have.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, let's talk about what you have amassed this year. I mean, we've all listened, and I've found these to be quite interesting, because every person is different in many ways. So let's start with your top 3 pickups of the year.
Okay, my top 3 pickups. I actually kind of made a little list not long ago on Instagram, but this one I'd probably put as my third, the Mario Z team. So that one was just a beauty. Actually, it was a consolation prize. I was bidding on a 95-96 Summit Artist Proof Mario, and I lost, and I was like, I need to get something, and I actually got that at a great price. So that one ended up being kind of a funny story. And then Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor Yzerman. I had to
how awesome those are. So that
you got me kind of like thinking like, ooh, and then one popped up myself. And that was actually right after we did the WAD deal. So the way I look at it, that WAD just kind of flipped right into that.
When you talked about, that's perfect, because I remember you talking to me, you said, I saw this, and now that you've talked this card up so much, I'm recognize them. So I'm glad that you found one, dude. That's awesome. Because they don't come around.
No, they're beautiful. All. And I'll admit, I didn't really appreciate them as much, because maybe it was just because I had a few guys I just didn't kind of care about as much. I just didn't really look at them enough. But like you said, I mean, the beauty of those they're incredible. And like I said, it just worked out with timing, was perfect. And my number one probably has to be the Gretzky rookie. So when I got my dad's stuff, he was missing maybe 15 cards from that set. So naturally the Gretzky was one of them. So that was one I felt like I had to finish right away. So that felt great when I was able to get this card and and kind of finish that set. So, and that was the one where he was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you own that." You know what I mean? Because that's always been kind of the holy grail, especially back in the '90s. That was that was it. There was that's before Crosby, before the McDavids.
Yeah.
It was Gretzky, Mario. Wall was starting to really get big. But I remember Gretzky and Mario, man, those rookies were just, they were it.
Every sport has an iconic rookie card for that one sport. In basketball, it's the Jordan. In baseball, it's
Like Griffey.
Yeah, the Griffey rookie,
Recently.
or the Mantle, or the Hank.
Yes.
Those are all up there. The Jackie, but the
Honest
Griffey
Wagner,
probably,
something like that.
Yeah, well, that one's just like security measures to keep that
right.
safe. Football. Tom Brady for modern, and then I don't know. Going back vintage wise, there's probably a couple that are like
Montana depends on what you're kind of going down. That was kind of your
Montana.
Rice, exactly.
And then of course, and then in hockey, it's
Gretzky.
The Gretzky. It's like the easiest, most recognized card. I'd say it's right below the Jordan.
I agree.
Like iconic.
That's number 2
ever.
That's number 2. There's a reason, but those guys are. I seen a recent little goat poll. And I saw Gretzky actually won. I was actually really surprised that people voted him over Jordan. Just I figured with recency bias and basketball just kind of being bigger that people would kind of vote for Jordan. But them two, they just absolutely dominated and crushed and just anything in their way in their sports. So, and for those cards to be that way, it's fitting. Because they're both just like I said. I could close my eyes and I always will be able to picture both those cards. Top to bottom, almost every color. Like you said, just certain iconic cards that you just know what they look like. Wherever you go and see. People who aren't even in the hobby, like you said, kind of know these cards and have an idea what they look like. Especially when they see articles where Gretzky's are selling for 1.3 million or whatever. But nonetheless, like I said, those are probably maybe the 2 most iconic cards, definitely over the last 40, 50 years. I don't think it's even close.
Absolutely, dude. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, across the board. I know hockey's not as popular maybe as the others, but like you said, that Gretzky rookie, man, that's just so iconic and just so well known.
Well, just think about the hobby for hockey, that the attention that is garnished just from that one card.
Yes.
That card itself, what is it, doubled in value since you bought it? That exact card?
At least, I got that one maybe July. I felt pretty comfortable with what I got it for. And since then, like these prices are just absolutely insane. They're just, they're just going. And the thing is, people see itself for 1.3 million, like, oh, maybe mine's worth that. Like, no, yours isn't a PSA 10. It may even be a counterfeit for all you know. But nonetheless, so there's a lot of that type of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I'm glad I got it when I got it because it was a set I felt I needed to finish and kind of complete right away. Because I remember that was always kind of like that unicorn set or the unicorn card for him. And of course, after I get it, he goes, "You should have got the O-Pee-Chee one." And I'm like, "Why would I get the O-Pee-Chee one?" We needed the one for the top set. He was just had to make a comment like that. And I was like, I can't afford an O-Pee-Chee one for one. Even back then, I don't even want to look at what they're going for now.
That's a card that I
always prefer O-Pee-Chee, except for the 1 year, 80-81, the only year I think Topps did it right and did it better. Mm-hmm. But I always preferred the O-Pee-Chee cards. They're just cleaner and they just look better. But that's just
they have that name too. It's like having a Nike swoosh.
I love that name. That name just reminds me of my childhood. Just seeing the little logo, the little kids sitting in the O, and there's just something about the O-Pee-Chee stuff that always just bring me back to my childhood and just the name. It's just a cool name to say too. My wife actually is kind of like saying it too.
That's awesome.
She's kind of picked up on it.
That's great, man. Well, how about like as far? You did mention the market being pretty crazy, obviously, but have you had a big steal of this year?
I would say my biggest steal was this 95-96 Fedorov Summit Ice Artist Proof. I think I got it for like maybe $3 or $4. I couldn't believe it. It was kind of one of my dream cards. I really want the Yzerman and Mario. But nonetheless, so this one I couldn't believe what I got it for. Because that's one of my top 5, if not higher, favorite Sergei cards that, I always wanted it. And they're so rare. But that was definitely, I'd say, my steal of the year.
And if I'm correct, those are 1 out of 2 boxes, like 1 out of
They're
36
super
packs. I
rare.
think
Yeah,
like
my
1 out of 2 boxes. It was crazy.
same thing. My dad had a bunch of those too, but nobody really too big. A bunch of common type guys, but still, they just one of those ones that just those cards look great. I don't care who it is. They all look great. Your Tebow,
Very,
your
oh,
Tebow looks
dude.
amazing. Yeah, that one looks amazing.
Yeah,
Beautiful
it's
card.
beautiful. Yep.
You know,
It is really, really nice, dude. I agree.
especially with that Montreal, because he had the Montreal jersey in that one too, right? It was Montreal.
He did, yeah. And,
Yeah, it was a
now I feel a
beautiful
little
card.
ashamed not putting it in my top 25, but it was hard to try to come up with
Yeah,
that list. I mean, but yeah, that's awesome,
I
dude.
love those.
And
Yeah.
what is that card right now? What, 40, $50 probably? 30, 40?
Probably somewhere in there. Yeah, because those artist proofs, because they made a ice and then they made the artist proofs. That's what I love. They always made two parallels. One. My dad had the entire ice set, but yeah. So the ice, I think the ice one's got to go for maybe 10 or 15. So yeah, you're probably right. Probably somewhere in that
Well,
range.
even those look amazing. I would love
I
to
love
open a
those.
box of that. I would love to open a box of that. Yeah.
Their inserts, yeah, that was a great product. Just all top to bottom.
Yep, for sure. And the artist proofs seem to kind of carry a little bit more weight in the hockey world as compared to baseball. I mean, a lot of the A-Rod artist proofs were not very expensive, but hockey today, you're not
Still
getting
to this
away with a
day.
score artist proof Patrick Waugh for under a certain amount. I mean, you
No.
have to pay big for them, and I love that about hockey. But
Yeah, they still hold their value up. I love it.
that's for another time. There's so much
Yes.
to dissect. But how about the most unexpected card of 2021 that you just never would have thought that you would own?
It would probably have to be the Iserman again. I hate to cheat, but probably this Bowman's best. I never ever in a million years thought I would own this card. I mean, there's only 100 of them made for one. The card's 22 years old now, so I heard you say in a few of your podcasts, like I said, how many cards are just kind of sitting in people's closets right now? So
Right.
there's only 100 on Earth. I mean, who knows? Some crazy wife could have been very mad at her husband and burned a few too. So one of those cards, I just never thought I would really ever have. That and the Gretzky, but the Gretzky, I mean, there's more than 100 of those out there. So I always kind of, I always thought that was maybe a one day type deal. So that one I always kind of felt like I was within some sort of reach.
Right.
But yeah, the Iserman and maybe the ZT Mario too is right behind it. But those are two I just never thought I would have.
Well, how many Wayne Gretzky half-eaten PSA 10 question mark?
PSA 10.
Yeah.
Is it a 10? I had a message I made. Do you think it's going to be a 10? Half-eaten.
You say, I'd like to invest in this card, but I'm really curious. I'm really concerned about its ability to get a 10 or not.
God.
All right, cool, man. I'm so stoked that you got that. It's cool when you're excited for your fellow collectors.
That's the thing about it. Yeah, that's the thing about this community. People are excited for each other when they get stuff or showing off stuff, and that's the best part of it.
Yep, absolutely, man. Not that there has really been many for us. I mean, I try to keep things positive. I think that's the way to approach collecting. But has there been since you're recently getting back in this year, is there anything that's been disappointing at all as far as getting back into the hobby?
Nothing really disappointing. It's just kind of always been my pet peeves. I've always just hated counterfeits, reprints. I don't mind reprints as long as it says somewhere on the card that you can clearly state that it's a reprint.
Right.
It's always been a thing of mine. I've just always hated that. People trying to get rich off that type of stuff. But outside of that, I mean, nothing's really. I mean, one thing I don't like is I don't like the exclusives either. I don't like that about the hobby today. I don't like that Upper Deck has strictly hockey, Tops has baseball, or whatever it may be. That was the best thing of the 90s, man. I mean, everybody was making everything. It was the Wild West. And, I mean, I could get a Score Dream Team Barry Sanders card and a Score Dream Team Sergei Fedorov card, and they have the exact same design. I mean, that's cool if I want to, say, display something like that, And that's one thing I don't like after getting back in. Before I left, the exclusive type stuff wasn't a deal. But that's one thing I'm not too fond of, but it is what it is. That's the world we're in. It's kind of like that way across the board. But I would say, yeah, those are the two things that I kind of just, turned me off a pinch.
Right. Now, it would certainly be great if there was some competition. You imagine getting a Topps Chrome Refractor.
Hell yeah.
Philip Zadina or...
For me, Panini or something, a Panini certified something. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, that's because it doesn't make you get lazy and put out I don't say a crappy product, but it sometimes happens.
They still got the young guns going. They still got the Future Watch autos. I think those two things are great. The cup is always...
Canvas. Yeah.
Oh, dude, canvas. Even
Yep.
if it's a 75-cent card, the pictures on it are
Yes. The
just
Dazzlers,
awesome.
I even like from the new ones. I got a few of those from when I opened that a box of the recent Upper Deck. And like I said, I mean, it's not like they're getting lazy or anything, but like you said, just the competition. Competition is good for anything. I don't care what it is.
Absolutely.
It's just good for everybody. It's just, it is what it is.
I agree. It's good for all of us, for the collectors and the designers, because it pushes them to the next level a little bit. If you could summarize, like, and I threw it at my buddy Tyler this way because I knew it was going to confuse him, but if I was going to come over and see your collection and I knew about hockey but I didn't know about hockey cards, how would you, maybe not in a sentence, but how would you just like summarize what I was about to see?
Just family built. Best way I could really phrase it. Just from me and my dad, just collecting and adding, and because we were both always collectors, throughout our lives, and that's really the best way to describe it. And just his, like I said, his determination and how much he loved it, and just the things he did and the extent he went to make the things happen and get the cards he got, and just to be able to hand it down. It's been, like I said, it's been amazing. So
What makes me want to ask this though? Has he been over to see recently?
not recently because of the COVID stuff. We actually had to quarantine ourselves. Luckily, we had a test and we were negative.
Okay.
But so he hasn't been over recently. But so hopefully he can come over here soon. I got to shoot him some pictures and get him all jealous and stuff because he never was able to display his stuff.
One thing, I mean, and this is just a suggestion. I don't know if you ever do this, but I think it would be awesome if you like recorded his reaction to coming in and seeing everything and like
That's a good idea.
Oh, like even if it was just recorded and you shared it with a few of us as friends,
That's
that
not a
would be
bad
really cool
idea
for me because I know one thing that I would love to do and record on my other YouTube channel that I'm going to get going here is having my dad over and just watching his reactions to cards that
Yes.
he and I would have just dreamed of holding in our hands when I was a kid.
He was looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I always like to give a suggestion
Yeah.
to everybody. That would be a great one.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind. I'll try and get that because, like you said, that'd be perfect.
Especially for the Instagram channel, Pops
Yes.
Collection, Pops looking at
Right, the original Pops, right? We got to get
right.
Pops on there,
That's right, man. All right. So, what would you say? Speaking of that, what is the most sentimental card that you own right now?
Probably the said Mario Lemieux Peachy rookie card that he got a long time ago. I would say this is the one because it's just been this is the one I always dreamed of. This is the one I always wanted. I mean, I love my Wayne Gretzky rookie, but Mario was always my guy. For non wings, and this card was just one I've always wanted. So. And just the fact that, like I said, I remember getting it with him. I remember being there. I remember his sisters, my aunts giving him the money and, for his birthday and finally being able to purchase it. And just, like I said, and just knowing that allure of it from both of us. And just, it was like kind of like that zebra unicorn or, whatnot that we always wanted. So, and the fact that it's still here. So I would definitely say that's the one.
Excellent. I was hoping that you would say a card similar to that, especially with all the shows that you got to go to.
Yes, I had to. Yeah, no doubter.
Awesome. Right now, I mean, we talked about maybe what a disappointment was, but what excites you the most about where the hobby's at?
Just seeing all the new faces coming back, me included. I see a lot of these. I go on these Instagram profiles and I click on them, and you see all the time. Back in the hobby. Come on my journey of being a nerd again. Stuff like that. Just seeing all the new fresh faces, everybody coming across the stuff they had. Yeah, and just getting out there and just having conversations about it and just talking cards. But yeah, I'd say just seeing everybody come back to it because that's just going to be good for all of us. Maybe not for the prices, but it's just good just to just to have the hobby around and at least have something to it, so there's some sort of heartbeat. So
right,
I would say that would be what excites me at least is just seeing everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the community is probably up there with one of the best things that I've discovered too this year. So I'm with you on that. You kind of mentioned a little bit about having competition. I don't know if this is where you're going to go with this answer, but if you could change something about where the hobby's at right now or something just about the hobby in general, what do you think that would be?
That would probably be the one. It would be the exclusives. And one thing I know people love this rainbow stuff, but I can't keep up with 24 parallels in a set. I'm sorry, I'm old school. Give me like two parallels or one pair. Give me one kind of a basic parallel and then one like I said, an artist proof or something that's super rare. The atomic refractor type deal. But yeah, when I look at the rainbow challenges, don't get me wrong, they're so cool. But I just can't even think of collecting 9 of you know what I mean? I mean, they look awesome. Don't get me wrong, but just the task of having to buy 9 cards of, whatever it may be, whatever player it may be, right. Personally. But like I said, I don't dabble with the new stuff. I love getting on there on Instagram and seeing the rainbow stuff. But yeah, I can't even fathom keeping up with it. Like looking them up in the Beckett, I get lost. It's just a whole nother world that I'm just not really acquainted to.
I had my experience in that, but it's I dabbled my feet in the water, dipped my toes in the water. And I enjoyed it. It was a little stressful.
It's cool, but yeah, it is. Some are numbered. It's so low. Some of them are numbered to 10, 25, and yeah, I mean that's tough. That's tough.
What would happen if Topps got hockey. So part of me doesn't want them to do that. I think Upper Deck they have like a Young Guns. Then you could get like a canvas
exclusives, and
there's only a couple. You got maybe the clear cut and then
the acetate, right? Yeah, the acetate like exclusives. Yeah, that's good. You give me 2 or 3, that's fine. Something I can kind of track, but. Yeah, when there's 13 different colors going on, and I can't keep up.
I hear you on that, man. It definitely is taxing on you when you're trying to find them all. I'm actually kind of thankful in a way. I used to get upset, but I'm thankful Tyler Glass now doesn't make it into every checklist. He's in very few, so that makes it a little less stressful for me.
It does, yeah. We're supposed to have to chase a guy who's in everything. He's got every insert, and it's
I can't imagine collecting Carter Hart right now or Carey Price. Like, it would just be a daunting task.
Yeah, McDavid, Crosby. And just knowing the prices that come along with them, too. That's just too tough.
Those people.
Yes.
If this is always a fun one. What one card, if money was not an issue, what one card would you like to own?
So, of course, we all go back and forth with this one. I mean, you can come up with endless ones. But I kind of go with, I think it's the 1951-52 Parker Gordie Howe rookie.
Nice.
Yeah, I figured because that was, when I was a kid, that was the original Gretzky. I remember just seeing that little card of him sitting there holding the stick. I mean, I remember that was the one, in the early 90s and the mid, and as we've gotten further along, but I would probably say that one because I never see it really either anymore. It feels like it's kind of quieted down or whatnot. I don't know what it is, but I'd probably say that Gordie Howe rookie card.
That would be awesome. Well, hopefully not in a PSA 10 half-eaten card because that would be a little unfortunate to see. But hopefully one day you're able to do it. That would be really cool. Just because I know a big Wings fan, and
yes,
I'm sure your dad would just be like over the moon.
He wouldn't even know. Yeah, he would lose his mind. I know that.
That would be
maybe one day
film right there.
Right.
Have him open like, "Hey, Dad, I got this $2 Sergey. Can you open this?"
Think of this. Yeah. Take a peek at this.
Yeah, right. You hear his reaction. What the?
Right.
That'd be awesome, man.
A few expletives coming out. That's for sure. Good ones. Good ones.
Deeper on. For sure. Well, hey, Nick, this has been just a pleasure to have you on, man. I'm so glad this ended up working out, and I hope that everybody watching has had a chance to think back to collecting with a family member, whether it's, mom, dad, sister, brother, but it
brings us all back, just being a kid, with your friends or, like I said, your dad, whatever it may be, your uncle, it's just, that's what brought us in. And you got to get back to your roots sometimes.
That's exactly how I thought about it when I came back in, as I was getting back to the roots of where it all started.
Exactly.
It's been one of the best choices I've made. And I bet you're feeling the same way getting back to it. So
loving it. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, if you could just sum up this interview for me and for all the viewers in a word, or maybe 2 words, you could hyphenate if you want to. What would that word be?
Just exciting. I just got to say, it's exciting just to get out here and I think Ryan say it last time, just letting out my dirty little, my nerd side that I kept hidden for so long. I didn't tell any of my friends, all that stuff for so long. And just being able to get out here and just talk to like-minded people and just have the same stuff going on. And yeah, I'd just say it's just exciting, just where this interview and where everything's going.
Awesome, dude. Well, to kind of tease it for any of our hockey viewers out there, including this fella right here, and
Trouble.
my buddy Ryan, who is slowly being pulled into collecting hockey. I know his son's into goalies, so that's great.
That's good. Yeah.
This will not be the last time you will see Nick on a YouTube podcast style thing. We're pretty sure about that. So I don't know. We've kind of chatted about that, about doing a big Instagram community discussion on the
Round table. Yeah.
cards. Yeah, dude, I'm really stoked for that. And, having people like you on here and talking to you, it keeps me positive with collecting. And just thanks for being so generous, man. We need more people like you out there for sure.
Yeah, no worries, man. Like I said, just thanks for, getting me in here and getting me on Instagram and talking me into it. And just like I said, just introducing me to all this. And like I said, just continued friendships, man. Just keep it rolling.
That's what it's all about. Well, hey, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Nick, you too. Hope you and your wife have a wonderful Christmas. And next episode will be on Sunday with my buddy Alan. He's been on the channel many times. Big Barry Bonds collector. He's going to kind of wrap it all up for this 2020 interview series, and then my buddy Ryan is going to have me on for the final episode. So everybody take care and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, guys.